Welcome to Stoic Daily Stoicism. Today I want to ask you something that might shake the way you see women forever. What if I told you that every woman, no matter how confident, independent, or untouchable she appears, carries hidden pressure points? Not flaws, not failures, but subtle, deeply human vulnerabilities. These are not weaknesses in the sense of being less than. Instead, they are emotional triggers. Delicate switches wired into female psychology that bypass logic and speak straight to the heart. They are the unseen doors that, when understood, can completely alter how a woman feels about you. Have you ever noticed how the strongest, most guarded woman can suddenly melt in front of the right man? Or how a woman who seems impossible to impress will suddenly find herself pursuing a man who carries a certain energy? A man who seems to press buttons no one else can reach. This isn't sorcery. It isn't manipulation. And it's definitely not luck. It's psychology. And today I'm going to reveal the 6 hidden weaknesses that every man must understand about women. Not to deceive, not to play games, but to truly understand attraction at its deepest core. Stay until the very end. Because once you understand these 6 things, you will never look at women or yourself the same way again. And if you're serious about becoming a man of depth, substance, and unshakable presence, then make sure to hit that like button and subscribe. Because here we don't waste time with surface-level dating tips. We go into the timeless truths of psychology and Stoicism, the lessons that don't just help you get women, but transform your character as a man. Most men believe women are impossible to figure out. They think attraction is random, emotional, unpredictable. But the truth is, women are human. And just like men, they respond to certain timeless triggers, things that bypass rational thought and stir something primal inside of them. If you're the man who learns how to embody these truths, you'll stop guessing. You'll stop chasing. You'll stop wasting energy trying to force attraction. Instead, you'll create a presence so magnetic, so rare, that women feel drawn to you without fully knowing why. Let's dive in. Weakness number 1, emotional safety at the deepest level. Every woman, regardless of how bold she appears, craves one thing above all else: emotional safety. I don't just mean physical protection. I don't mean being her bodyguard or trying to act tough. I mean safety of the heart, safety of the soul. Here's the truth. Every woman walks through life wearing armor. Society tells her to be strong, independent, flawless. She faces constant pressure to look perfect, to perform perfectly, to never reveal vulnerability. And so she builds walls. She wears masks. But beneath all that, she longs for a man who makes it safe to take the mask off. Ask yourself, can she open up to you about her deepest fears without you laughing, mocking, or using them against her? Can she reveal her insecurities without you turning them into weapons later? Can she fall apart in front of you and still feel accepted? When a woman feels that kind of emotional safety, something extraordinary happens. She bonds deeply, irrevocably. That's why so many men fail by trying too hard to impress. They think attraction is about flashing status, bragging, showing off. But all that noise only makes her feel more guarded. What truly draws her in is not your performance, but your presence. The man who creates space for her to simply be herself without fear of judgment becomes unforgettable. Think of it like this. When every other man is trying to take something from her attention, validation, physical intimacy, you become the rare man who gives her something priceless, safety. And that's a weakness she cannot resist. Weakness number 2, unshakable. Confidence is one of the most overused words in the dating world. But let's strip away the nonsense. True confidence is not arrogance. It's not loud. It doesn't need to dominate the room or force respect. True confidence is steadiness. It's the unshakable calm of a man who knows who he is, no matter what storm he's standing in. Picture this. She teases you with a sharp remark. She pulls back to see if you'll chase. She challenges your opinion in front of her friends. Most men collapse under this kind of pressure. They get defensive. They become angry. Or worse, they grow desperate to prove themselves and win her approval. But the rare man-the-man women cannot resist. It's the one who remains calm. He doesn't fold. He doesn't lash out. He doesn't scramble to impress. He simply smiles, stands his ground, and lets his presence speak louder than words. That kind of confidence is magnetic because it signals something far deeper: stability. Women live in a world of constant change. Their emotions fluctuate, their environment shifts, and society demands more from them than ever before. In that whirlwind, the man who remains steady becomes like a lighthouse in the storm. He doesn't need to shout about his worth. He doesn't need to convince anyone. His very presence communicates. I am grounded. I know who I am, and nothing you do can shake that. And that, my friend, is irresistible. Weakness number 3. A man with purpose now. Let's talk about one of the most misunderstood dynamics in attraction: purpose. Here's the hard truth. A woman does not want to be the center of your entire world. She wants to join a man who already has a world of his own. When you have purpose, when you wake up each morning with direction, ambition, and vision, it radiates from you. It's not something you need to announce. It's not something you need to post on social media. It's simply there, woven into how you move, how you talk, how you make decisions. Women can sense it, and they can't ignore it. A man without purpose inevitably becomes needy. He leans on her for validation, for entertainment, for meaning. That kind of dependence suffocates attraction. But the man who has a mission becomes magnetic. He doesn't need her to complete him yet. She feels irresistibly drawn to join him. Because deep down, every woman wants to stand beside a man who is going somewhere. And here's the secret. Your purpose isn't just for you. It's not selfish. A man with purpose naturally elevates the people around him. His drive, his vision, his discipline, they inspire others. They awaken something inside of her that says, if I stand next to this man, I will rise too. That's why purpose is one of the deepest weaknesses women have. Because no matter how independent she may be, she craves a man whose fire lights her own. Weakness number 4, selective attention. It's the most valuable currency in the modern world. And women, whether they admit it or not, crave it. But here's the catch. Not all attention is created equal. The man who floods her with constant attention texting all day, complimenting every move, checking in every hour quickly becomes background noise. She gets numb to it. But the man whose attention is rare, focused, and intentional, that man is unforgettable. Imagine this. You're in a crowded room, dozens of conversations happening around her. Yet when your eyes lock on hers, everything else fades. For that brief moment, she feels like the only person in the universe. That kind of presence is intoxicating. It's not about being unavailable. It's not about playing games. It's about making sure your attention carries weight. Think of it like a fine perfume. A small dose lingers for hours. Too much and it loses its effect. So when you give her attention, when you truly listen, when your gaze is undivided, when your presence is fully her, she will never forget it. That's why selective attention is such a powerful weakness, because it transforms something ordinary into something extraordinary. Weakness number 5, mystery and unpredictability. Here's a paradox. Women say they want consistency, and they do. But what truly captivates them is unpredictability within that. Consistency, let me explain. If every text you send is predictable, if every date follows the same script, if every word and action is easy to forecast, attraction withers. Desire thrives on curiosity. It needs tension, suspense, the unknown. That's why romance novels and films captivate women. They're built on pauses, delays, unexpected twists, the constant wondering of what happens next. As a man, when you embody mystery not in a deceptive way, but in a confident, self-contained way, you create a magnetic pull. When you don't reveal everything about yourself up front, when you leave certain thoughts unsaid, when you let her wonder what's going on behind your calm eyes, you awaken curiosity. And curiosity is addictive. It doesn't mean playing games. It means being multi-layered. It means having a life outside of her. It means not explaining every single move you make, but letting your actions speak for themselves. That unpredictability, wrapped in steadiness, creates a tension she cannot resist. Weakness number 6, emotional leadership finally. The most powerful and rare quality of all, emotional leadership. Here's the truth. Women are emotional creatures by nature. Their moods shift, their feelings ebb and flow. This is not a weakness, it's part of their brilliance. But here's where most men fail. Instead of leading, they get swept up in her emotional waves. If she's angry, they panic. If she's sad, they drown. If she's anxious, they spiral with her. And in doing so, they lose her respect. The man who holds emotional leadership, the man who can stay grounded while she's in a storm, activates one of her deepest instincts. He doesn't ignore her feelings. He doesn't belittle them. He listens. He feels with her, but he remains steady. When she cries, he doesn't collapse. When she rages, he doesn't retaliate. When she tests him, he doesn't explode. Instead, his presence becomes an anchor that steadies her chaos. That kind of leadership makes her feel protected in a way few men ever can. And once she experiences it,